Hello everybody. Once again I am here for the last point, which is to be escape of electron from the metal is to be there. Now in the previous session, which is what to be the thermionic emission, similarly here it is also to be the escape of the electron from the metal. The same condition is to be required, that is the sufficient amount of the kinetic energy when the electrons are getting, and these electrons are, we are aware about that, which are freely moving in the your metal is to be there. Now as far as these electrons are freely moving, the resultant force working on that particular electrons is going to be the zero. The resultant force is zero, but they are having the bonding for that particularly bonding electrons are to be there. They are free to move in the metal, but they are not getting the sufficient energy to escape from that metal is to be there, and that is what the bonding electron condition we can say. Now basically when this kinetic energy, required kinetic energy is given by the outer, it is somehow showing this figure how they are going to be bonded. Either they are free, the resultant energy uh, is to be zero, but the as far as the requirement of the sufficient amount of the external field is going to be, that is required the kinetic energy to do some amount of work for extending the work, that is to be moving from one place to another force, that is to be the work, that much amount of work should be done. And for doing that work, these electrons require the some external amount of the energy, and to escape from that metal is to be there. And that force, as far as work is to be done, it inward restoring force is against the particularly what the escape of the electrons required is to be there. And if the inward force has a magnitude fr at a distance x from the layer of the ion, then the collision of the electron escape is nearly half mv square. It should be greater than the 0 to infinity fr dx is to be there. This much amount of the condition is to be there. That means the एफ ऑफ आर डी एक्स म्हणजे याच्या वर्क डन करण्यासाठी जेवढी काही कायनेटिक एनर्जी लागणार आहे, ह्या एवढ्या अमाऊंट ऑफ वर्क डनला लागणारी कायनेटिक एनर्जी याच्यापेक्षा जास्त जेव्हा असेल, म्हणजेच हाफ एम व्ही स्क्वेअरपेक्षा एवढे ग्रेटर असेल, त्यावेळेसच दिस एस्केप ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन कॅन बी पॉसिबल. द ग्रॉस वर्क फंक्शन ऑफ द मेटल इज देअरफॉर बी गिव्हन ॲज ए WC is equal to integration 0 to infinity f of r dx is to be there. In this case, where if you look at this condition, the magnitude of the force Fr is going to be 0 at x is equal to 0, but as the electrons moves outward from the layer of the ion, the force Fr increases with the distance x as shown in this figure 13. now म्हणजे जर समजा इलेक्ट्रॉन जर एस्केप व्हायचं असेल तर ह्याच्यापेक्षा एवढ्या अमाऊंट किंवा याच्यापेक्षा म्हणजे एक्स इज इक्वल टू 0 ह्या स्टेजला magnitude of the force is going to be the f of r is going to be not going to be too much high, and in that case the emission of the electron is not possible. But the force f of r increases, म्हणजे f of r into dx increasing with the distance dx, that will be particularly giving the case where it is to be as an escape of the electron is to be there. म्हणजे तो maximum होणं force with the displacement, that is to be the work done is to be there, then and then only the magnitude. However, since they giving the whatever be the escape of the electrons are to be there, and the resultant force vanishes when the electron is far from the metal. मग जेव्हा एकदा त्याच्यापासून तो मूव्ह होणार, म्हणजे सरफेस मेटल सरफेसपासून तो मूव्ह होणार, त्यावेळेस त्याचं जे काही फोर्स आहे दॅट इज अगेन गोइंग टू बी झिरो. म्हणजे ते एक प्रकारे जर समजा डायग्राम बघितली तर फोर्स जे काही रिलेशन आहे ते ह्या पद्धतीने राहील. म्हणजे जेव्हा की एफ ऑफ आर अँड विथ द डिस्टन्स इज टू बी देअर ॲट अ सर्टन अमाऊंट ऑफ द डिस्टन्स इट इज शोईंग यू ॲट द बिगिनिंग इट विल गोज ऑन इन्क्रीजिंग, इट विल इन्क्रीज अप टू द पीक टू एस्केप फ्रॉम इट. आणि एकदा एस्केप झाला त्या सरफेसपासून की ते पुन्हा डिक्रीज होणार आहे फोर्स, बट द फोर्स इज गोइंग टू बी इन्क्रीजिंग टिल इट्स एस्केप इज टू बी देअर. आणि एकदा एक त्या सरफेसपासून एस्केप झालं की ते फोर्स ॲटोमॅटिकली काय होत जाणार, कमी होत जाणार आहे. दॅट इज व्हॉट द इट इज शोईंग दिस डायग्राम इज टू बी देअर. It will goes on increasing and increasing, it will extend up to certain limit. At that stage, that sufficient amount of energy is particularly getting by this particular electrons, and they will free from that surface area. म्हणजे तेवढी कायनेटिक एनर्जी त्याला सफिशियंट अमाऊंट ऑफ कायनेटिक एनर्जी मिळाली, आणि त्यावेळेसच तो तिथून लेफ्ट होईल. आणि तो एकदा तिथून एस्केप झाला सरफेसपासून की ॲटोमॅटिकली ते फोर्सेस ऑफ अट्रॅक्शन त्याच्यामधलं जे काय ते कमी कमी होत जाईल, and that force will goes on decreasing and decreasing as the distance is going to be increasing. This is what this diagram is clearly explaining. Now in this case again, the whatever be the many theories of the images of the forces on the electron outside the metal, provides the distances x as large compared with the size and the spacings of the ions in the metals are to be there. The resulting force is then for this escape of the electrons is nothing but to be given with f of r is equal to 1 by 4 pi k0 into e by twice x whole square is to be there, or f of r is equal to e square upon 16 pi k0 x square is to be there. This is what where x is to be as an becomes negligible when x is here in this case the whatever be the value is to, for the force becomes to be negligible as the x is large. म्हणजे जेवढा तो इलेक्ट्रॉन दूर जाईल तेवढं फोर्स हे ऑटोमॅटिकली झिरो होत जाईल किंवा निग्लिजिबल होत जाईल एस्केप झाल्यानंतर तो इलेक्ट्रॉन. अँड दिस इज व्हॉट द एस्केप ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रॉन फ्रॉम द मेटल इज टू बी देअर. Thank you for joining this session, and this is what the session the syllabi what is going to be completed. Thank you for the joining, and be at home and be safe.